Hi guys, I'm Mike Goldstein of Easy Dating Coach. So excited for today's topic is how to keep a man crazy about you. This topic is so important because for the last 10 years I've been listening to women tell me that they're able to get men crazy about them, but after some time the man leaves or pulls back and they have no idea what they're doing wrong. And if you're watching this, most likely you are this amazing woman that has a lot going for her, but no one's taught you kind of the strategy. And quite frankly, men out there don't know how to teach this to you and don't even know that they actually want this. So, this is after years of studying, and this is the framework of 4 things that a men really need to stay crazy about you so that you can stay in a relationship long term and not stay in a mediocre one, but stay in a great one where you guys really come together and truly love each other and truly have a passion and a craziness for each other, which sounds like a great relationship. So let's hop right into the topic. So there's 4 things. Make sure you stay till the end. The last one might be the most important, but you really need all 4. So I'm going to walk you through step by step how we take a man through this process and how we do this all encompassing so he's crazy about you and stays crazy about you. All right, so the first thing is a man needs to feel needed. So we're going to do an acronym. It's called NAB. So we got to nab a guy. So it's going to be NAAB. So write that down. Nab a guy. So easy to remember. We're going to take this to the bank. So N, we need to make him feel needed. This is so important. So in today's day and age, he doesn't necessarily feel needed, and let's explain why. Women at this point are kicking butt in careers, and some of you are divorced, single mom, and so imagine what that life looks like. So our single mom goes to work, makes a paycheck, comes home to her house that she pays for, takes care of the children, and does whatever all of that entails to keep things moving. So when he comes into the equation, he's like, all right, 100 years ago, I was needed because I at least brought in the paycheck. I came home, got the honey I'm home kiss, and it's like, oh, thank you. Now we can eat because he provided. Now he's like, where do I fit in? So, ladies, it is not your job to give him a spot necessarily, but you do want him to feel like there's a home somewhere. So let me explain that. So he needs to come to the table with a lot, right? For you to be attracted to him. Like he's got to come having a good job, having able to listen to you, able to have a conversation with you, build emotional connection, and show value. But we need to kind of give him a little push here. And what that push looks like is giving him access. So maybe he won't be the financial breadwinner, but maybe he can provide something else. Maybe it's emotional support. Maybe it's protection of your heart. So how can we do that in the early stages? So the early stages can be as simple as, let's say you go on a date at Starbucks, and this will be the foundation for your relationship. And since you're this kick-ass woman and you're at Starbucks, now imagine normally you just go take care of everything yourself, but imagine this time you go sit down and you forgot the sugar for your coffee. And you're a queen and you're like, excuse me, Mike, would you mind getting me some sugar? So we've made him feel needed. He's got to do something. Now he comes back with the sugar and you go, oh, thank you. You are such a gentleman. All right, so the next one is needed and then appreciation. And so the highest level of appreciation is admiration. And this is so important because think about it. Think about the man that marries you. Don't you want him to kind of like cherish you, admire you? Well, guess what? He wants the same thing. So if we made him, kind of put some stuff out there to make him feel needed, and now we come back to like, maybe we ask him, hey, can you help me with my jacket? Or maybe down the road, it's like, I'm having this problem at work. Would you mind giving me some advice? And then once he lays out this game plan for advice, where you're like, whoa, this is a smart guy, you come to him and you're like, wow, you're a genius. Like, I never would have figured this out. And this is such a great solution. Like, I love that about you. Like, you're here for me and you've got my back and you have such great strategy. So, needed, and then appreciation slash admiration. When I come to admiration, I think about, like, if I had to think back to when I got proposed, when I proposed to a woman, I thought about how I felt about her, and some of the admiration qualities I had for her was, I'm like, man, she is so smart, and she's like the most generous person to everyone she knows, and she's just like such a genius. She like is willing to give everything to her family and her friends. Like, that's the type of character she has. And so that's what made me comfortable. Like, that type of character, that type of intelligence, that kind of fun, like, that's someone I want to settle down with. And the flip happens when he feels like you're like, wow, like, I found the guy, not a guy, the guy. He's like, man, I feel comfortable to be in this relationship because she's making me feel like, hey, there's not 3 billion other men out there. I'm the guy for her. All right? So we got needed, appreciated, admiration. Now the third one, super important. The second A, NAAB, NAB. The third A is acceptance. Oh, this one's huge. Think about our poor guy here. And think about people in general. Imagine not fully being accepted by our partner. Like, obviously none of us are perfect. But like, and everyone's probably got this. We all had that like high school person or college person we dated that probably we picked, mostly on looks or something that, inspired us to date them. But, we didn't really know what we were doing. So we kind of like picked not based on values and shared interests, but whatever. Anyway, they didn't fully get us because we probably weren't that compatible. And then maybe they tried to change us. And maybe even that's happened in later in our dating where we're like, I don't like this about the person. Let me change that around. That's not going to fly for a life partnership. For a man that's going to be crazy about you, the moment you're trying to change him, he's going to be not crazy about you. He's going to be like, this is my mom asked me to do things. This doesn't work. So really what we're looking for, and, we're not going to let him get away with stuff either. What you need to do is find a man that has this giving personality. And if he's giving to you and you're giving to him, and then every day maybe he's giving you 10 things, where it's 10 things in the sense of even just like when you talk, he listens, or when you point out a bird, he's like, oh yeah, that is a nice bird. So showing up in a positive way. So every time he interacts with you, it's positive instead of a negative, where maybe you say something and you've been hanging out for years and you say something and maybe he doesn't respond. Well, that was just a negative 1 point, where instead when he does respond, that's a positive one. He's showing that he listens and still cares about you. So if we can get a guy that's showing up at a plus 10 on the day, when he finally does something, that's not so great, and in your ideal man it wasn't quite in your picture, you don't bring it up, you don't bring him down, you don't take any admiration points away from him. You just accept it. Because when he knows he can be himself and he can share and he can be vulnerable, he's going to be crazy about you. All right, so we made him feel needed, we made him feel appreciated, admired, and now he's accepted to be the man who he is, warts, faults, everything. And this should be reciprocal, of course. He should be treating you special. Now the final one, and this one is so important, it's having boundaries. Now, part of this is so important because a woman that is high value is probably really good at having boundaries. So not only is it having boundaries, but really what boundaries is giving a man a roadmap on how to be successful within the relationship. And this is so important. Men, we've been fumbling around relationships for years, especially now that relationships are all about love and not necessarily financially security. And we don't quite have it down yet. And we don't quite understand women yet. So if you can help us, that'd be magnificent. But doing it in a graceful way, which is so important. This is vital. Like men have been there with the nagging woman where it's like, you need to do this, and he's like, oh, he doesn't want to do any of that. But if he's happy with you and you're the woman that admires and appreciates him and accepts him and makes him feel needed, he does 100% want to do stuff for you, and he does want you to be happy. And he does want to do stuff because he wants that appreciation and admiration again. He's like a little puppy. He's like, what can I do? What can I do so I can get pet and get my treat? So with boundaries, here let's give an example on how to execute. Let's say very simple stuff. You really would love for him to sit down and listen to you and have a conversation with you. And this can be so beautiful. I would outline how it's going to go down. So the boundary is kind of explaining how it's going to go down. But you're saying, like, you would make me so happy if on every Sunday at 8 p.m. we can have a conversation for 10 minutes. I don't want you to solve any problems. All I want you to do is listen to me and be there for me. It'll be like, sounds interesting. I guess we could try it. And so then when you do it, you tell him, listen, it's just going to be 10 minutes. I don't need you to talk. And then at the end of 10 minutes, you give him his appreciation. So the boundary was that you needed this to happen. It was unacceptable that he wasn't there to listen to you. And maybe at this part of the relationship, it's kind of gone where it's very formulaic and the relationship's kind of lost that pizzazz. But maybe the pizzazz is just you don't feel connected in the sense of communicating together. So telling him that it would make you so happy if you did this, and then doing it and then showing appreciation. So that'll be beautiful. And it's not like, oh, you don't care about me anymore, or oh, you never listen to me. That's nagging. This is standing up for yourself, stating a boundary in an effective way. Like, it would make me so happy. And starting with the appreciation. You're a great boyfriend. You are a great man. It would make me so happy. And this is beautiful for him because he just has to listen. So it's nice and easy. He can do it. And then he gets appreciation. I've seen this executed so many times where the man just like starts to love Sunday. He's like, oh, this is the best. I don't have to talk. I just listen. I don't have to think. And all of a sudden she is more drawn to me. That's fabulous. All right, so how to keep a guy crazy. Let's reiterate everything. Needed, appreciated, admiration, acceptance, and boundaries. When you bring all four of these things to the table, he's going to feel so drawn to you. He's going to be so crazy about you. And once he feels comfortable that this stuff's getting executed, that's how he can be with you forever. That's how he gets on a knee where he's like, man, I've got the woman. Not only are you beautiful, not only do you have all these great things, but you get how to be in a relationship. You have the skill set. And I can promise you 99% of women don't have all four of these, totally figured out. So when you start working on this stuff and start executing it, you become part of the 1%. And imagine you're already awesome. You've done all your work. You've got the good job. You've got the great family, friends. You've got your activities. You're a high value woman. Now imagine you're a woman that can do this skill set. Men will not get enough of you. Your boyfriend will not get enough of you. You will finally have that relationship where he is crazy about you instead of having that relationship that has friction, that has fighting, that has two people that don't understand each other not working together. Whew. All right, beautiful. And so now, even if you're doing all this, I'm sure some of you have thought, well, what about him? Like, we can get him to do, you got to pick the right guy, first of all. You got to pick a man that's going to treat you like a queen and is a giver. But if is not doing everything you want, that's when we go back to boundaries. We can get good behavior out of men. That's like, hey, you'd make me so happy if you do X. Hey, you'd be so amazing if you do blah, blah, blah. All right? So that's how we get the right guy. And if you find a guy that's not meeting those boundaries over a long period of time or over a decent period of time, well, then that's maybe you picked the wrong guy. But we can get the right guy. We can get the right relationship by executing this formula. And he will be crazy about you because he's never had a woman do this. Okay. What I'm going to do is, I'm sure you guys want to watch more content. I'll plop one up there, 2 videos. Pick one to watch. Subscribe. Do me a favor, if this was helpful, share it. Like, go hit share. I want everyone to have access to this content. Could you imagine if women know about this, your friends know about this? Like, I want to change the world with this, because this is how we get men and women together. This is how we lower the divorce rate 50%. We can do this together. Thank you so much. Let's get started. We'll see you guys soon.